Look at what we got here. It's amazing when you plug in the right key, it starts working for you. Let's see. Get a little notification here. Whoa, notifications. What do you think, Miguel? You think we're live? Drew in the morning. Live on YouTube. Is it? It is. Oh, God, look, there I am. Oh, what a handsome gentleman. What a handsome, handsome gentleman. Oh, man. Listening to myself. Good morning, everybody. You know, I don't even have my iPad turned on. I can't even play my little sound clip, dude. I am ill prepared this morning. It's okay. All right, the YouTube's live. Let's check the Facebooks. You think the Facebooks are live? This beautiful beach background behind me. I feel like I'm at the island this morning. You know, I think these first couple episodes are going to be a little bit bumpy. It's been a hot minute since we've been in front of anyone. And you'll notice that there's someone missing across the table from me. And that's okay. Special guest coming soon. All the special guests. And we're back in the office. So in the studio, it's very nice. But things have been picking up here at the office. So there's going to be a little bit of background noise. I guess that's just the way it is. It's just the way the cookie's going to crumble, as they say. All right. You know, I really need to get better about doing this and making sure that everything's working the way that it's supposed to before I actually go on. Oh, there it is. Live on YouTube. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, so it still says Drew and Jess in the morning. It also says holidays, raw milks, Vegas, and more. That's not accurate. That's cool. Oh, man. Well, I wonder if I can edit that. Edit post. There we go. We're not talking about holidays, raw milks, Vegas, and more. Very good. Okay. Well, hi-de-ho, everybody. Look, I want to see if I've got, there's supposed to be like a little chat overlay that I can turn on and off, but I don't even know if it's working. So I turn it on, and we'll see if we get little chat messages down, like right there. That should be pretty cool if it works. Oh, well, it's Monday. Monday like any other. Monday, May 18th, 2026. Hi. Hello. I love it. No matter if I try and remove it or not, it still says Drew and Jess in the morning. Voila. Let's see if my little chat, is the chat business working? It doesn't look like it's working. That's okay. I don't know how to tie this stuff in yet. We'll figure it out. Or maybe it just doesn't show my chat. I don't know, whatever it is. Anyway, well, got a couple people watching already. Fantastic. There's two of us, probably myself and Miguel. That's okay. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. We can make it if we don't sing. We can make it if we don't sing. Oh, my iPad's been upgraded. Cool. Oh, look. I'm turning it off. Hey, Meg, send a chat, would you? To a little chat, like on YouTube or Facebook or something. I want to see if it's... I'm supposed to have like this little chat overlay thing, but I suck at remembering how to do these things. Self-produced. Should be on. It says it's on. Oh, 3. Oh, you joined twice, didn't you? So it shows 3. It shows 3 viewers instead of just 1. It's good stuff. Get out of here. Get out of here with this. We give me all this stuff. Yeah, whatever. That sounds great. Look, there's a little hello. But see, it's not appearing on my little. I was hoping it'd appear on this little overlay thing that I got going on. But it doesn't look like that's happening the way that it's supposed to. Oh, maybe I didn't hit save. You know that happens. Righty. I hope no one's actually watching on on Facebook or anything. Just they're listening to me hum and whistle. But if you are, get on YouTube until I can figure out how to fix the chat business. All right. Give me a second. Let's see. Let's go over to this guy right there. There we go. I don't remember if I hit save or not on that shit. No, look, the sound pattern's buffering on me. Fucking hell. Good. Very good. Glad to know it's all going off without a hitch. What is this one coming from? Okay, well, that didn't work out the way that I thought it was going to work out. That's exciting. Okay, well, that's cool. There. Well, I don't know. Whatever. I was trying to put the little chat on the thing, and it's just not. It's not working. I can't even see my own little chat. That's okay. Well, Migs, it looks like I'm just going to talk to you and pretend that you are my audience. Trying to see if anyone, like, I'm hoping, right, that maybe there's one viewer on Facebook, maybe one. I'm trying to debate whether I should just consolidate everything and only go in one deal instead of trying to stream on two at the same time and try and look at the different messages. I don't think it makes sense to do both. Look, I got South Padre Island is spinning behind me. This still says raw eggs, and it still says that this is the wrong episode. That's cool. Well, whatever works. 11 minutes. Holidays, raw milk, Vegas, and more. That's not correct. Let's talk. Of course, nobody's going to watch because Jessica's not sitting here. That's the way that's going to work out. And then she's going to be like, I told you so. You should have waited for me to come over there before you started doing it. Maybe that's the case. That's good. Everything is failing at the exact same time on here. So that's a good sign, I guess. Just consolidate. Oh, look. Nobody's going to watch because Jessica's not sitting here. I don't want to listen to myself. 3 viewers, 1 comment. Get out of here. I don't even want to watch. Man, I'm just like all over the place this morning. I can't figure out how to get any of this shit to work. That's great. So we rebuilt the studio. So here's what happened. Let's get a little recap going on right now. We rebuilt the podcast studio. We painted the walls. We came in here. We got ready to go. We were going to have a fantastic time producing all this great new content. And then life started lifing, and we got busy. We all got busy. We got busy doing stuff, new jobs, new projects, new opportunities. All those wonderful things happened. And so we didn't do anything. And now here we are, like 4 hours later or whatever. Now, it's been 6 months, 8 months, however long it's been. We tried to cut a couple episodes here and there. We ran into some friends and cut a podcast on their podcast and talked a little bit about Drew in the Morning there. And then Jess is just hella busy doing the stuff that Jess does, and that's okay. That's great. So we'll have her come in from time to time when she can make time to come in here, and when she can show up to boost our ratings on a Monday morning. Anyway, so here's what I want to talk about today, and I'm just going to talk to Miguel because he's sitting across the hallway from me. And I'm just going to look at him, and he's going to nod at me and throw me the finger or flip me the bird and all the other good stuff. Early voting starts today. It's Monday, May 18th. And early voting starts for the runoffs for state representative for District 41. And so on the Democratic side, you've got Sebi and Julio. And then on the Republican side, you've got Sergio and Gary. And I clearly have my favorites in both of those races and who I think I should vote for. And that's cool. I don't know who you're going to vote for. I don't even know who some of my best friends are going to vote for. But what I do know is that I wanted to read a bunch of stuff. I wanted to be a little bit more informed than what I was because I felt like a hater because of some of the things I was thinking about some of the candidates that were in there. And so here's what I'll tell you is that let's start with the Republican side of it. Sergio Sanchez and I have known each other for way too long. The go-to guy for DUI. He was a DUI lawyer for a long time in Hidalgo County. Serge is a great guy. We played T-ball together when our kids, who are now almost in their 30s, were T-ball age. And always a good guy. Never had a negative thing to say about the guy. Do I agree with his politics? Probably absolutely not. I don't. His stance on abortion and everything else is just not at all something that I would ever support, just because that's not what I believe. But compared to a guy who wears a MAGA hat as his campaign slogan, Yeah, dude. Of course, I'm going to support Surge in that election if I was voting Republican, because the toxicity of someone, the audacity of a white man to wear a MAGA hat and put on all his campaign signs in South Texas when we've got ICE raids and kids being picked up and all the horrendous things that are happening in the Rio Grande Valley, for someone to just be so bolsterous that they could put that fucking hat on and act like you should vote for them because they support the president with the lowest approval ratings ever. Polls came out today, even lower, second term, lower, always lower, God, like. And then what blows my mind is people are actually going to vote for him. Like he's in a runoff. Like they're in a runoff. People voted for him the first time. I can't even believe that. I can't. Every time I see someone wearing a MAGA hat, it makes me sick. And the fact that this person would put his hat on for his campaign posters is like, let me show you how much of an asshole I can be. I don't even know the guy. He might be the nicest guy, but I judge because he's wearing that stupid hat. So Surge at least isn't out there wearing a MAGA hat. I mean, his political views may be opposite of mine, but he's not putting it in my face and showing off what a. Anyway, that's about enough of that. That's what happens when Jess is in here. I don't get kicked for saying some of these things. So in that race on the Republican side, obviously, if you're going to pull that lever, that's who I would pick, because I think that someone who wears a MAGA hat can only make things worse. And I don't even have to know what his political stance is on anything. All I know is that by wearing that hat, you show me exactly who you are. And that's not someone I would ever want representing me, So there's that. Now let's talk about the fun one. Let's talk about the Democratic runoff in HD 41 between Sebi and Julio. I've known Seb for a long time. For a long time. And that doesn't mean that he's good at his job or bad at his job. What it means is that I've known him personally for a long time. And so if I take that out of it and I look at what he's done, and I really try and form an opinion on what I would think about him representing me and representing my family and my friends and everyone else who lives in this area. If I'm comparing that alone between him and Julio, again, this is the part where I really felt like a hater. I felt like maybe I was just being a crotchety old man. And so I did what any person in 2026 does. I went and I started doing research. And, and AI is a heck of a thing because you can just ask it a million questions and it'll just spit it out for you. And I tried to have it go back and forth. And it came up with a lot of stuff. And it almost sounded biased, to be honest. So I ran it through 3 different AI models and they all said the same thing. And first of all, I'm sure Julio's a nice guy. I'm sure he is. I've never met the guy. He hasn't ever taken the time to reach out. I've never taken the time to reach out. My paths have never crossed with his paths. Even when Michelle was running, our paths crossed, and we had mutual friends and introductions, and she came to me for sponsorships, and I was happy to help. But my paths have never crossed with Julio. I've never had the opportunity to be in the same room with this guy, probably because he's 25 and I'm not 25, probably because he has a different circle of friends than I have in a circle of friends. But that doesn't mean I'm not someone that he would represent. And that bothers me because I know a lot of the people that are involved in some of these things. I see them. I talk to them regularly. My opinion, they make me feel like my opinion matters to them when I sit down with them, and their opinion matters to me. And I've never once ran into this guy. That in and of itself is a big problem for me, because what if I need something? And by something, I mean, what if I need a tour of the Capitol for my kids? Mondo answers his phone all the time. I know Mondo. I run into Mondo everywhere. He's not even my rep, but he's there. He's accessible. This is someone, Julio's not accessible to me because I feel like there's this weird gap that happens there. So I was like, all right, well, let's see who I have in common. So I get on his LinkedIn page and it says he lives in Austin. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm not going to fault the guy for not updating his LinkedIn page. But then again, he's a millennial and he doesn't know how to update his LinkedIn page. Okay, so he lives in Austin. So then I was like, all right, well, maybe I'm just getting into hater mode. But then I look at experience. I was like, let me boil this down because I really want to understand what experience he brings to the table and why he thinks he's a viable candidate in this. And so I said, all right, I know what Sebi's done. I remember when he got elected. I've seen the work that he's done in our community. I've known him and his family for a really long time. I see what his brother's doing on the school board. I see that their family is civically and actively involved every single day. Sebi is like in every community event in the Rio Grande Valley that you can think of, and especially in McAllen. He's everywhere. He's always everywhere. And if you ever want to find him, you know where to find him. I can't say the same about the other guy. I've never seen him. I've never actually physically seen this person. I've been to a lot of rallies. I've been to a lot of political events. I've never seen this guy. And so I started to wonder why. Was it just an age thing? Is it that I'm 49 and he's 25 and that's why we're never going to see each other? And how horrible is that if the people that are between the ages of 25 and 49 are the ones carrying all the weight for the working class, and we don't ever get to see this guy because he's not here, because he moved from here to Austin, spent his whole life up in Austin, and was a staffer up in Austin, but he can't tell you who he was a staffer for. If you look up all the stats, this was crazy, man. I tried to find out who he had worked for, and it says that he cited his role as a legislative director in the Texas Capitol, right? But I can't find who he was a legislative director for, because Josue Rodriguez was Bobby Guerra's legislative director. We know that. But it doesn't tell you, there's no listing of who he was the legislative director for. So he's done stuff in the Capitol, I guess, when he lived in Austin. He moved from here to Austin. And like, think back to when you were in high school, right? Everyone, at least in, the 90s, everyone's like, oh, dude, we're going to move to Austin. It's going to be great. They moved up to Austin. And Austin's a whole different world than the Rio Grande Valley. So you move to Austin, and you go up there, and you spend your whole life up there, and then you turn around and you're like, oh, I'm going to go back down to the Rio Grande Valley, and I'm going to run for office in the Rio Grande Valley because I'm going to help them. Dude, the guy has no connections down here. He doesn't have any support from any of the existing lawmakers. He doesn't have any support from any of the city mayors or from the EDC directors or from anyone in Parks and Rec or Streets and Drainage or county commissioners or any of the people that someone who's a state representative needs in order to do effective work. And that's like my biggest problem, is that he doesn't have the connections. I get it. Like, I'm all for someone going out and like putting out the hustle and saying, hey, I'm young and I'm 25 years old and I'm going to go and I'm going to change the world and do all these great things. That's awesome. But also being able to represent my area is awesome. I need someone who can get shit done. I need someone who has those connections to be able to affect streets and drainage when a hurricane comes, to be able to help pave the roads when the roads get messed up. I need someone who can pick up the phone and call someone down the street and say, this is what I need from you. And at the same time, I need our local mayors and commissioners and county judges. I need them to be able to call someone who's their state rep and say, hey, man, I need to get this done. Or, hey, I need a grant for education. Or, hey, I need to affect the workforce in this area because of what's happening with the border crisis and all these other things. I need our elected officials to be able to call someone and then be able to go, you know what, man, I got you. I'm on it. A 25-year-old freshman in a Republican supermajority from the Rio Grande Valley who has no civic experience is not someone who can get shit done. It's not someone who can reach across town and be like, hey, man, listen, I need help with this thing down. I need you to earmark some budget for the stuff that we're doing down in the Rio Grande Valley. Dude, the guy has no cards. He has no connections. He has no cards. He has no chips to play. And that's because he's a 25-year-old person who's never been civically involved before, except for understanding the way that paper moves around the Capitol, which is important, right? Sebi doesn't have that component of it. He doesn't know how the paper moves around in the Capitol. But this guy is a legislative director for whoever it was. I can't find it. Maybe someone on the chat will tell me. Whoever it was, I guess he knows how to move paper around the Capitol because he says he does, and I'll take him at his word on that, even though I can't find verifiable evidence of that. It just doesn't. You can't support a bill and you can't kill a bill if you don't have any power, if you don't have any weight, if you don't have any chips. And for me right now, as someone who's becoming a crotchety old man, 49 years old in South Texas, I want my state rep to be able to do shit. Like, I want them to be able to actually get stuff done. This year, if Julio gets elected, his first year, he's not gonna be able to do anything, like, at all. And maybe I guess that's okay because it is a Republican supermajority, and I guess Democrats don't have a voice in the House anyway, or whatever it is. But I don't want to take, dude, I don't want to be training wheels for a candidate, man. And I feel like we're facing this thing where all this bullshit about Sobe's a Republican. Yeah, so we voted in the Republican primary. Dude, you know what? I want someone who sees both sides of the aisle. I'm not going to lie. I want someone who knows somebody on both sides of it. And I think that it's important that a candidate has the ability to talk on both sides. So he pulled the Republican lever. Dude, we're at a time right now where probably a lot of people pulled the Republican lever. And that's okay, you know? He's seen the error in his ways. I don't want to say, I don't want to go get in office and just be like, vote against everything that the Democrats stand for. I don't think he will. I don't think he'll do that. I think more than anything, he'll be a good representative of our area. I really do. I really honestly feel like it. And I feel like there's other people that are Democrats that are not good representatives of our area. Dude, look around us. Don't even get me started about the people that are already in office that are doing horrendous things, right? Or the people that roll in under a Democratic ticket and then flip the next day to become Republicans. Jesus Christ. I mean, like, we've had our fair share of bad politics in this area. And I hope that doesn't continue. And I love the idea that someone that I came up with is stepping up to run, because anyone really in this political climate who steps up to do anything is already facing an uphill battle. The problem is dude, imagine you've got the House of Representatives, right? I don't even know what the number breakdown is between Democrats and Republicans right now. I should know that. But this 60, okay, here you go. Texas House Democrats currently hold roughly 62 of 150 seats. Even an aggressive 2026 cycle doesn't flip the chamber. Whoever wins HD 41 will be in the minority, period. The question isn't whether your rep can pass an agenda. Nobody can pass an agenda, right? So the important parts are going to be deliver appropriations and earmarks, kill bills that harm the RGV, run constituent services well, and show up in the Valley regularly and actually live among the people he represents. For someone whose LinkedIn profile still says that he lives in Austin. I don't know, man. I don't know. I know who I'm going to vote for. And it's someone who can actually get things done. That's it. That's all I got to say. And that's all I got to say about that. But the thing is, it's like, I love the idea. The other thing is, like, when he got the Bernie endorsement, dude, I mean, I get it. That's the card he's playing. He's got the endorsements from the people that love to talk a lot of shit, right? He's got Moms Against Greg Abbott. He's got, a bunch of Instagram people. He's got, the political social media liberal influencer groups that are on, all over my Instagram, to be honest. He's got a bunch of their endorsements. A bunch of endorsements from people who aren't going to get anything done, man. Like, those guys don't give a shit about the drainage in Las Milpas. Like, years old, that would have been anything inconsequential, or that would have been anything consequential, right? To some extent, when I'm working with a Republican supermajority of people that don't want to work with me anyway. And I look at the other candidate. I look at what Sebi can do, dude. Every single person who represents our area, with the exception of a couple of U.S. senators, has endorsed Sebi and who have said, I want to work with this guy, and I think it's important to work with this guy. So we'll see what happens. Early voting starts today, and the best place you can follow all of the election information is at politiquera.com. Let's bring up some numbers, man. So Politiquera is a website that I started. Let's do a little screen share. It's a website that I started about 15 years ago or so. And I started this website so that I could map and visualize voter data, because the voter data that's out there is like not, I don't know, man, it's just a bunch of numbers on a spreadsheet. And if you ever want really cool maps and stuff, you have to look at the big national sites, CNN or whatever it is. And so what I did is I started this website so that I could visualize everything that's happening. And let me see here. Let me see if I can change this display behind me that I lost from. Oh, disconnected. Good. Quack, 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 quack. Reconnecting. This thing waited for me to go off my rant before it disconnected, Migs. No, it's just saying here, like buffering. Yep. There it goes. All right. Let me see. Let's see if I can make this thing flip over here. Do, 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 do. Aha. HDMI 2. That's not where we need to be. Nope. It'd be really helpful if I got the remote. The story of this TV is actually pretty funny. I got it at Walmart. It was an open box. And it provides a great little background for me. A little green screen action. Except it doesn't have a remote. So that's loading. Here we go. Maybe. Maybe. No. Always fun with the technicals. Oh, that's the wrong one. Aha. Okay. Let's see if this one works. Anyway, we had some fun statistics I was bringing up about HD41. Trying to do a little screen share, but it's not working. Anyhow, so there were some fun numbers. I'll talk about the numbers. We can look at my TV cycling in the background. I'll just turn it off, call it a day. But there were some fun numbers that I wanted to talk about where we saw the number of people that showed up in different districts, like during the race for the primary, and then the race for not the race, but the vote for the school board. And between District 5 and the school board, it was pretty crazy. There were a bunch of, like, so many people that showed up to vote for the bond. Like, people just aren't. I feel like there's voter fatigue, right, happening. I feel like definitely have text message fatigue. Everyone's freaking blowing up the text already. But here, let me throw some stats out. Look at this. This is crazy. So, of the people that live in HD 41 for this race that they have going on, people that live in the area and that voted for the bond and voted for the District 5 election, there's only 692 of them that turned out. But of those, check this out. Let me run this. There's 139 voters that voted for the bond and voted in the city election, but didn't vote in the primary. Now they can go out again. They can vote in the runoff, right? So there's 139 people that can go vote right now, and they can choose Republican or Democrat. And it's important to remember, if you voted Democrat in the primary election, you have to vote Democrat in the runoff. Or if you voted Republican in the primary, the March 3rd election, you have to stay in line. You can't switch your vote right now. But if you didn't vote in March 3rd, you can still go vote, and you can choose which primary you want to be in. So that's kind of cool. So there's 139 people that did not vote in the primary, that voted in the District 5 city election, which is the core of McAllen, right? And the MISD bond. Now, if I run a report and I look at this, dude, here's a crazy stat. And kudos to the people for getting out the vote. 1,626 voters voted in the McAllen bond election, but did not vote in the primary. There's 1,600 people that are like, yeah, it's important what is happening in our schools, but it's not important who wins HD 41. We can start calling them out by name. That'd be fun. If you go on politicera.com, you can zoom in and you can actually see the addresses of the people that I'm talking about. It makes a little map and it says, let's see if I have any friends I can call out. I'm not going to call people out. But if you look around the map, you can look at very specific neighborhoods and you can say, this person voted in the bond, but they didn't care to go vote in the primary. So these 1,626 voters, these are the ones I'm interested in seeing. And so I've got them on a target list. I'm going to be tracking over what's happening with early voting and with the election for HD 41, because these are 1,600 people that decided to get up and get out and go vote, for or against the school bond. But when it comes to actually voting for the people that can move your government, they did not come out. So all 1,600 of you, I want to see what percentage of those people. Oh my God, dude, are you serious? Wow, I'm looking through it. I can see some names of people that wow. The ex-IT director of the current IT director of wow. Holy moly. Anyway, it's telling all this voter data is out there. But I find it fascinating that people they felt moved enough to go vote for the bond, but they don't feel moved enough to go vote in that primary. So I'm interested to see what percentage of these 1,600 voters show up, because I have a feeling it's not going to be, I hope it's a lot. I don't think it's going to be a lot. And if you think about the election that happened before, I mean, I'm trying to remember what the statistics were, 20,000 votes cast más o menos. Let me see if I can bring up the numbers between the with the runoff. Let's see, 6,004 ballots. 6,004 ballots were cast in the District 41 race. So that's 6,004 ballots, right? There's 1,626 can be added to that. So that's enough to sway the entire election, right? I mean, well, sorry. Julio got 6,004 ballots. That's wrong. Sebi got 5,800 ballots. So a 200 ballot difference between the two, right? And Eric Holgan was 3,753. I wonder who Eric's votes are going to go for. Are they going to go for the people that are saying that Sebi's a Republican? Or are they going to go for the people that are accepting Bernie's endorsement of Julio? Doesn't feel like those two sides will ever get along, unfortunately. But if you combine that 3,700 ballot with this 1,600, that's a lot of votes, man. That's a whole lot of votes that are going to swing this election. I just want to know how many people are going to feel like they should come out and vote again, and how many people are going to come out that voted in the bond that are going to say, I think that this is important to them. Anyway, that's where I'm going with that. So I am curious about what is happening. Now, there's a whole bunch of other shit I wanted to talk about, but I'm not going to, because it's already been like 40 minutes. And I couldn't even figure out how to get my title to change on Facebook. Anyway, plus it's not as much fun without Jess here. Gotta say it. She's not even listening. I don't even know how many viewers I have, but I guarantee you Jess isn't one of them. I think she's doing it just to protest. Thanks, babe. Thanks for the views. Anyway, all right. Well, the whole purpose of this was for me to get behind a microphone and start talking again and figure out where all the problems were. And I have successfully talked for 41 minutes straight. So now I'm going to shut up and fix all the technical problems. Anyway, I appreciate the 3 people that listened. And I look forward to, hopefully, doing more of this very soon. We're going to go back to Mondays. Monday mornings are going to be, Mondays are going to be content days for Jess and I. So this and her podcast, which if you have not heard it, is hilarious. It's called A Risky Business. And then I've got my nerd podcast that I'm going to record here in about 10 minutes. So Mondays are content days. Mondays, 9 a.m. is the new time for Drew in the morning. Hopefully